Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Um,
Okay, I can hear you now. All right, so good evening.
Evening.
All right, so how are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to hear that. So, can you tell me something about your day?
Mm, Something. Today I go to school, learning, and go home. After home, I was go to my friend's house and play a board game.
Oh, I see. So, how often do you go to your friend's house?
Maybe 3 times a week.
Oh, 3 times a week. Wow, that's nice. Okay, so thank you for attending the class. So, let's start. So, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so let's continue on page 52. So let's have letter B. So have you remembered the text yesterday?
Mm, Maybe yes.
Yes. Okay. Because we are going to or you are going to say the main idea of the text and the three details. All right. So these are some possible answers. So how about you? What's your main idea?
Main idea
Mm-hmm.
today communication and travel are far.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and news you can search the news on your phone and travel by airplane. Uh,
Mhm.
you can communication
Mhm.
by text message and email too.
Okay. All right. So that's all.
No, not app.
Okay. How about travel?
You can try in the past you travel by train and horse, but today you can travel faster because you can travel by train
Mm-hmm.
and ship ship.
Yes. Okay. Very nice. And last news.
News
Mm-hmm.
in the past, people read magazines and newspapers know about the news, but today you can search in the phone know about your news.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, Tom. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. So now let's have letter C. So I want you to number the events in the correct order. So number one is already given. Let's start.
Number one, people talk to each other to get news. Number two, people listen to radio for news. Number three, newspapers start. Number four, people watch TV and read the news on the internet.
Yes, very good. Okay, now let's answer these questions. Let's start with number one. So long ago, people didn't usually go to places very far away. Why not?
because it's not more modern than today. Today is
Mhm.
more modern than people in the past.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Next, number two. How does a letter get from Australia to Egypt today?
Uh, maybe it is go by ship or train, but today is called by airplane. Airplane. It only have 1 or 2 hours.
Yes, okay. Because now we have planes, right? So we can go to other countries uh, for just a few hours. Okay, so now let's have the grammar in use. So let's listen and sing along.
Page 53. Grammar in use. D. Listen and sing along. Great grandma.
Great grandma traveled on a ship. The trip was long and slow. She moved here from a different land many years ago. Great grandma walked from place to place in sun or rain or snow. She didn't use a car or bus many years ago. Great grandma listened to the news on her old radio. People didn't watch TV many years ago.
All right, now it's your turn. Please read.
The trip was long and slow. She moved here from a different land many years ago. Great grandma walked from place to place in sun or rain or snow. She didn't use a car or bus many years ago. Great grandma listened to the news on her own radio. People didn't watch TV many years ago.
Okay, thank you for singing, Tom. Now let's have the grammar part and let's talk about the simple past regular verbs. Please read the sentences.
People don't like the news, radio. They didn't watch the news on TV. People traveled by horse and cars. They didn't travel by airplane.
Yes, very good. So when we say simple past, so the action occurred in the past. Yes? Okay, so now let's answer this question. So, what did you do last night? So, I want you to say three things. Okay, let's start.
I ate dessert.
Mm-hmm.
I I went to I went to bed
Mm-hmm.
and I went to karate class.
Wow, thank you. All right, so now let's move to the next page. Okay, so let's communicate. Let's start with letter A.
Page 54. Communicate. Words. A. Listen and point to the words. Listen again and say the words. Boat. Bus. Motorcycle. Cable car. Truck. Horse. Boat. Bus. Motorcycle. Cable car. truck, horse,
Okay, now it's your turn. Please read.
Boat, bus, motorcycle, cable car, truck, horse.
Yes, okay. So now let's have letter B. So let's think about the words in A and let's add them to the chart.
God,
All right, let's start.
a lot of people can travel on that at the same time. It bus, truck, and cable car.
Yes. Next.
Only one or two people can travel on there at the same time. It's horse, motorbike, and boat.
Yes, very good. Okay. So how about you, Tom? So what kind of transportation or vehicle do you like best?
Um, I like plane
Oh, the plane. Why?
because I want to try it once in my life.
Ah, so you haven't tried getting on the plane before?
Yes,
Wow, I see. Okay. So, all right. So if you would get a chance to go on a plane, where will you go?
yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So would you
What
go
are
to Mhm.
what are you said?
Ah, okay. So I said earlier, so if you would get a chance to ride on a plane, where would you go? Would you go to another country?
No, maybe I go to some islands in Vietnam. This
Mm.
island is in the big, it's in the ocean.
I see. Okay. So thank you. Now, let's have the listening part. Let's answer this question first. Are there cable cars in your town or in your country?
No, there aren't. No, there
Oh,
aren't.
I see. Okay. Now let's have letter C. So let's listen and let's answer this question. Who has a new motorcycle? Let's start.
page 54. Communicate, listening. C. Listen. Who has a new motorcycle?
Look, they're delivering a lot of fruit and vegetables to the supermarket in that big truck. We didn't have trucks when I was a little girl.
What did you have then?
Well, farmers delivered their fruit and vegetables to markets by horse and cart.
Really? I didn't know that. How did you go to school, Grandma?
Well, we didn't go to school by bus back then. There weren't any buses. We traveled to school in cable cars. It was slow, but it was fun.
There aren't any cable cars now. We go to school by bus now. Guess what, Grandma? Dad has a new motorcycle. Did people travel by motorcycle long ago?
Oh no, we didn't have motorcycles like people do now. We traveled to places nearby on bicycles.
How did you travel when you wanted to go far away?
We didn't often go far away, but if we needed to go to another city, we traveled by boat on the river.
We never go by boat now. We travel by airplane. It's fast and fun.
All right, let's answer this, Tom. So who has a new motorcycle?
The grandpa.
Okay, very good. All right, so now, uh, would you like to answer letter D? So number the words in order you hear them.
Mm, the bus, the moon,
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay. All right, so let's see if you get the correct answers. Oh no. Ah, okay. So I think you got the correct answers, Tom. Good job. Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Oh no, I can't hear you. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, I can hear you now. All right, so now let's have the speaking part. So let's start. So let's listen.
Page 55. Communicate. Speaking. E. Listen and repeat. Then practice with a partner. Use the words in the box to help.
What country do you come from?
Egypt.
Would you repeat that, please?
Egypt.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so now I want you to read. Let's start, Tom.
Egypt. Would you
Okay, so now let's have a role play. Ready? So you would be the attendant and I will be the boy. So let's use Mhm.
what
Mexico.
would you
Mexico.
okay.
Okay, good job. All right, so now let's have word study. So let's have words in alphabetical order. So can you please read, Tom?
What is the look at the other is the two. We look at the left.
Okay.
And you hello.
Hello, are you there?
This I was just saying.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, I can hear you now. All right, so now let's number the words in alphabetical order. So let's start. So letter A.
And people.
So number one is amphibian. What is number two?
It's easy.
Okay, and number three?
It's a button.
All right, next let's have letter B. So what's the
It's
first?
scooter.
Okay,
Green
next. Mhm.
scooter.
All right. Next, let's have letter C.
It is faster. See the stop.
Okay, very good. All right, so now let's move to the next page. All right, so now let's have the words. Let's have unit 6. Let's start.
Page 56. Unit 6. Get ready. Words. A. Listen and point to the words. Listen again and say the words.
Arrive. Ask. Check. Enter. Pour. Crowded. Clerk. Visit. Sick. Arrive. Ask. Check. Enter. Poor. Crowded. Clerk. Visit. Sick.
Page
Okay, so it's
56.
your turn. Please read.
Arrive, ask, check, enter, pour, crowded, clerk, visit, sick.
Wow, very good. So now let's have letter B. So let's complete the sentences. Let's start with number 2.
He want to visit. He want to go to the zoo. To visit the zoo and to go to the zoo.
Yes. Next, number 3.
She sad because she sick and she sad because she poor.
Very good. Number 4.
The ship is very crowded and the ship is very big.
Nice. Number 5.
You like to ask question and you like I like to ask question and I like to answer question.
Good. And number 6.
He arrived at school and entered his classroom. He arrived at school and see his classroom. Bố cái này đi con rửa.
Very good. So now let's answer some questions. So, are there children from other countries in your school?
No, they aren't.
I see. But do you want to have a foreigner friend or a foreign friend?
Maybe yes,
Why?
because I want to talk to her. I can practice through speaking and listening.
Mm-hmm. I see. Oh, you mean you want to have an American friend? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, let's have letter C. So please read.
Square is order of things such as 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C, D. Story often have a sequence, even if the story happen of an order. Grace mailed a letter from Paris to her cousin in London. The letter arrived in 10 days. Her cousin was happy to get a letter.
Yes, okay. So those are sequence. So the order of things. So now let's have this. Put the events in the correct order. So number 1.
Lucy lived in the village long ago.
So
She
what?
arrived in 2 days. She and her aunt Lucy was sad to say goodbye. Maybe the letter two is she busy her
Mm-hmm.
and the letter two is she arrived in 2 days. Letter three is letter two is she arrived in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Letter three is she is visit her aunt in the city. Letter four is she and her aunt visit many fun places. And letter five is Lucy was sad.
Okay, so let's see if you got the answers. All right, number 2 is this. 3, she arrived in 2 days. 4, she and her aunt. And 5, Lucia was sad to say goodbye. Okay, so thank you. And now let's start with our stories. So let's listen first.
Page 57. Read. Tell me a story, Grandpa.
Tell me a story, Grandpa.
Okay, says Grandpa. I'll tell you a story about my grandfather, Carlo. In 1910, Carlo was 10 years old. He and his family lived in Italy. They were very poor, so they came to the United States for a better life. This was the first time that Carlo traveled to a place far away.
Really? I'm 10 too,
Says Henry.
and Mom, Dad, and I visit a different country every summer.
Yes, Henry. Things are different now, says Grandpa.
How did they travel here?
Asks Henry. They traveled by ship, says Grandpa. It wasn't an easy trip because the ship was crowded and dirty. There wasn't much food, and many people got sick. Carlo was sick too. They arrived at Ellis Island in New York after 10 days,
Wow, that's slow,
says Henry.
Now it only takes about 9 hours in an airplane.
I know, says Grandpa. It's very different today.
What happened at Ellis Island?
Asks Henry. Doctors checked everyone, and Carlo was very scared, says Grandpa.
Why was he scared, Grandpa? Doctors help people,
Says Henry. Yes, but people who weren't healthy couldn't enter New York, says Grandpa. The clerks asked them many questions.
What questions, Grandpa?
Asks Henry. Where are you from? Are you healthy or are you sick? Says Grandpa. Luckily, Carlo was feeling better, so they let him in. And that's why we live here today and not in Italy,
That was a cool story, Grandpa,
says Henry.
I have an idea. Let's take a trip to Italy.
That's a good idea, Henry, says Grandpa. Let's go next summer.
Awesome, Grandpa. But let's take an airplane, not a ship.
Okay, so thank you. All right, so how about you, Tom? Do you like the story?
Yes, I like the story.
Wow, nice to hear that. Okay, but I think our time is already over, Tom. So let's continue tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Okay, have a good
Bye-bye.
night. Mhm. See you next time.
See you next time. Anh phải tắt trước. Ô, anh phải